From a distance, it looks harmless. You walk into a new place. No one knows you. No one threatens you. But someone has already noticed you. Not with hostility, with functional curiosity. You hesitate. You look for where to sit, how to act. That isn't weakness. But announcing hesitation is. Snakes don't strike what they don't understand. They understand first. You don't realize it yet, but an asymmetry already exists. Not in strength, in attention. Someone saw your uncertainty. You didn't see theirs. That doesn't create guilt. It creates interest. A small request appears. Harmless. Do you mind if? You say yes, of course. It's polite. But politeness doesn't explain why the second time is easier. Snakes don't bite right away. They test the reaction. You responded. Now there's a pattern. No intention was announced. No one consciously manipulated anything. Not yet. But movement has begun. You adjust. The other person simply observes. The difference feels small. Until it isn't. The environment didn't change. Your position did. You don't know when. Predators don't negotiate fairness. They recognize structure. And you just revealed yours. Nothing dramatic happened. That's exactly what makes it dangerous. From a distance, this still looks like harmony. You keep adjusting. Small concessions. Just this once. But patterns don't recognize exceptions. They recognize repetition. A label forms. Nothing cruel, just descriptive. You're the helpful type. It doesn't reduce who you are. It makes you predictable. Predators recognize patterns before they name species. And predictability isn't innocent. It's useful. You don't feel threatened. You feel familiar. That's worse. Because familiarity turns off caution. Snakes don't warn. They measure. And now you've been measured. There's no need to test anymore. They know. Not out of malice, out of efficiency. Once a snake learns the path, it stops wasting energy. You think you're being kind. You are. But kindness without limits isn't virtue. It's data. And data, in the right hands, becomes leverage. Nothing big happens. You don't lose money. You don't lose dignity. You just lose time, attention, priority. Small, silent victories happen on the other side. No witnesses, no drama, just function. You start to notice, vaguely. Why is it always me? The question arrives late, because questions come after patterns, never before. Manipulation isn't persuasion. It's arranging the space so the other person chooses poorly, on their own, without explicit pressure. In nature, alignment isn't mutual. One side adapts more. You're already adapted, and that adjustment didn't come from outside. It came from inside. That's the core. No one forced you. You just didn't stop when you saw it worked. For them, guilt slows humans down. Snakes don't carry it. And the absence of guilt doesn't dehumanize. It optimizes. You feel discomfort. But where do you object? No rule was broken. No promise was betrayed. You just gave in, repeatedly. And now, giving in has become identity. You always do this. Weakness isn't dramatic. It's repetitive. Repetition becomes structure. Then it happens. Something small, someone loses. You gain. Not out of revenge, out of convenience. The loss wasn't necessary. It was convenient. Snakes don't need to hate their prey. They just need opportunity. And you just provided one. Silence. You realize it. Too late. It wasn't instinct. It was method. Naming it doesn't free you. It only clarifies. And clarity without action is just delayed awareness. You see it now. But seeing doesn't undo it. It only confirms it. Nothing explodes. No one yells. Predation doesn't leave scars. It leaves absences. You stop showing up in certain places. You stop replying to certain messages, not out of anger, out of structural exhaustion. Snakes don't leave noise behind. They leave absence. And absence is harder to name than pain, because pain has a source. Absence is just empty space. The other person continues, not out of cruelty, out of function. When you stop needing approval, the room tilts. Less effort, less exposure, more predictability in others. This isn't dramatic power, it's asymmetric control. And control doesn't need to be conscious to be real. You learn something. Late. What sharpens you also separates you, because now you recognize the pattern, in others, in yourself. And recognition without innocence changes how you move. No one is watching now. That's usually when it happens. You're alone, no witnesses, and you realize manipulation was never loud. Snakes aren't either, and silence usually wins, not because it's fair, because it's efficient. You close your eyes. The question comes, inevitable, cold. When did I become the snake? Silence. The answer doesn't come. Because snakes don't answer. They just keep moving, measuring, waiting.